I thought maybe while I'm on my way to see my therapist today, I would record a short video to get some thoughts out I have. Because there's this question in my mind that's been going on for some time now. What is a Jew? People talk about the Jews a lot, especially with what's going on in Israel and Palestine lately. But I was thinking, I was taught the Bible. My mom homeschooled me and taught me the Bible. So I know the Old Testament. I read the whole Old Testament. It was boring. But one thing that I do know about the Jews, though I don't know anything about modern Jews, is that they're not like the other two Abrahamic religions. Because the Jews are not only a religion, they are also a race of people that believed to be descended from Abraham's son Isaac. And so there are people who call themselves a Jew because they were born Jewish, but then there are other people who were Jewish because they follow the religion of Judaism. And so there are two types of Jews, the cultural or biological Jews, and then the religious Jews. There's two different types of Jews. And I know this is a real stretch for some people, but I had this thought, okay, so just as there are two types of women, there's trans women and cis women, the ones that were born that way versus the ones that became that way, I was thinking that we could compare transgender people to Jews, because the Jews are an interesting case, because when it comes to Christianity or Islam, it's just about whether you follow that religion, whether you believe or practice that religion. But being Jewish is either something you're just born with it, or you can convert to Judaism. And what I'm saying is that converting to a gender is kind of like converting to a religion, okay? This is what I've been thinking in my head, and I was just thinking, well, okay, so I know this is controversial, but everything in the news is either about, transgender people, or it's about, the Israel and Palestinian war. And I was just thinking about these things because of this, and what I know of the ancient Jews, okay, so for those of you who don't know, because I was raised with this, my mom taught me the Bible, even though I didn't like it very much. God promised Abraham that he would have many descendants, and Abraham had two sons. One, which was that was born to his wife Sarah, and they named him Isaac. And the other one was the one that was born to their servant Hagar, that Abraham had sex with. So basically, that was a weird drama. But so supposedly, it is believed that that Isaac was considered like the true son promised to Abraham by God. But anyway, it's kind of strange. But the idea is that the Jews were descended from Abraham, and specifically descended through Abraham's son Isaac. That's how I understand it from the Bible. And the Jews have done a lot of things. They were slaves in Egypt for 400 years, and then God did miracles and brought them out. And then once they got to the Canaan, the promised land, then God did miracles to help them kill all the Canaanites so they could take over the land. And so it's a really weird, like, the Old Testament is very bloody, it's very gross, and I do not approve of it, but I learned about that the whole time I was growing up. The Bible was like central. The Bible was before math, before all other subjects. So I know a few things about that. And it just got me thinking, though. See, in modern times, I don't care that much about the Jews. I'm not racist. I'm not I'm not anti-Jewish, but I also don't think the Jews are better than anybody else either. So I would just like people to get along, and I would like there not to be a war. But let's face it, the three Abrahamic religions of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, they have things in common and they have differences, and they're never all going to get along. And there will be wars and there will be killing. And I would never do anything that I believed would contribute to the violence. But this growing question on my mind is, what is a Jew? And I'm realizing there's two kinds of Jews. There's people like, hey, I was born to a Jewish family, I'm a Jew, and that's it. It's kind of like how cis people are just, they're born a man or born a woman. Actually, they're born a baby, but that's a whole nother thing. And so they just accept it, and they just go along with what's expected of them as a male or as a female or as a Jew or whatever it might be, or as a Christian like I did, just accepted what I was taught. And then I had a whole spiritual crisis when I was like 25, and I was an atheist for like 10 years, and then I met honestly the unicorn, and then I ended up more confused than I ever was to begin with. But anyway, that's enough about that. The point is, I've just become more interested recently in learning about the Jews. And if there are any modern Jews, people who are Jews today, that happen to come across this video, I'd like you to leave me a comment and tell me about your religion or your race from your perspective. What does it mean to you to be a Jew? Because I'm just interested, because I don't know anything about Jews other than what's written in the Old Testament, and that I had a Jewish friend growing up that, well, we never talked religion anyway, so I didn't learn anything about that. We just played video games, which is arguably much more important. Super Smash Brothers. Anyway, I'm going to talk to my therapist today, and hopefully I'll get to work on some schoolwork today and finish that before going back to work at Walmart tonight. So leave me a comment, like and subscribe at whatever platform this is on, and let me know your thoughts.